Hey guys, welcome back to the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We are excited to be here with you today. Sitting here with my partner in arms here, Mr. Roger Short. Give him the signal. Give him the signal, Roger.
The signal?
Yeah.
I don't know what the
I
signal
don't know
is.
either.
Don't know.
That's right. There you go. That's it. That's it. That's the signal. And then we have a very, very special guest from Louisville, Kentucky, Mr. Trey Wright.
Yes, sir.
Boom. Mr. Trey Wright.
Trey, man, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, sir.
It's exciting to have you here, man.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited.
Well, Trey, we're jumping into this this podcast today, unscripted again.
I feel like we need like some music there.
we need an unscripted music.
Yeah, it's kind of like the DJ scratching the record, you know? Unscripted.
There you go.
There, that works.
There you go. I don't know. We got to go back to his era. What was that music in your era, Trey?
Oh, you don't want to know. It was yeah.
Well, Trey, man, let's hear a little bit about you. Tell us who you are, a little bit about your background, family, where you're from, how long you've been in business. Let's start there so that we can give these guys some context before we jump in. By the way, this guy's got an incredible story. You need to hang in here because he's getting ready to drop some gold. If you could duplicate what he's doing, you'd change your life. So, Trey, let's give him a little context.
I appreciate it. Well, my name's Trey. Like we've already introduced, I'm from Louisville, born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. Went to Trinity High School, was an athlete, went in college, played college athletes. I have a beautiful family. I got a little sister. Her name's Nora Beth. I have a beautiful, beautiful fiance that I'm forever grateful for. She helped change my life around. Her name is Devin, soon to be Wright.
Soon to be right.
Yep.
She is Devin Wright.
Nah.
She's the right one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. See, what I did there?
I liked it. I might drop some magic on her tonight with
There
that.
you go.
But yes, she helped. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I've been in the business now for about 6.5 months.
Yeah.
Going on 7, and it's been incredible. It's never thought I could ever reach that level of success so fast.
Yeah.
So I'm just beyond grateful. I don't even know what else to say about it because never thought in my life that something like this could be achievable. Yeah. Everybody always told me, but my self-confidence was never to that level of believing in it in myself. And now I'm finally starting to realize that. So it's pretty awesome.
What were you doing? What were you doing before this?
I was in a drug rehab facility. So I played college football, dealt with a ton of injuries, had 2 knee surgeries, broke my elbow, dislocated my elbow, had a metal plate put in my arm along with fixing some ligaments. And that's kind of when I got my first introduction into opioids. And when I graduated, it started before I graduated. And then when I came back to Louisville, don't know really, can't explain really what was going through my head, but it made me feel good. And I didn't think that I could feel good without it. So I continued to use, and then it got to the point to where I couldn't find any more pills. So I tried heroin for the first time. So then I became fully addicted to heroin. That was my full-time job. And it just went downhill. I went from 200 pounds to 150 pounds in less than 4 months. Wow. My family knew something was up. They never gave up on me, but we've tried several things after I came out and admitted to them that I had a problem.
Yeah.
Tried several things to fix it, and it didn't help. Then on May 7th, I went to a treatment facility named Isaiah House. And it's all the way in the boondocks of Kentucky, in Willisburg, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I was scared. So I left about 2 hours after I got there. Hitchhiked all the way back home. Showed up at my doorstep, my mom and dad's. They didn't know what to think.
Did they know you were at the facility?
Yes, sir. They dropped me off. Yes, sir. And
did you want to go? Is that something you wanted to do? Were you ready to face those demons at that moment?
deep down, I did.
Yeah.
But on the surface level, no. Because I knew the pain and suffering I'd have to go through to not do it anymore.
Yeah.
and I didn't think I was mentally prepared to fight that battle. And I wasn't ready to get rid of that feeling that heroin gave me.
Yeah.
I didn't care at that point. I didn't care about the bad things that could have happened. You know, I didn't care about people saying, well, you're going to overdose. You know, eventually it's going to happen. I didn't believe it was ever going to happen to me.
Now, were you with Devin at that time?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
No, sir. I was fresh out of college. It started literally like 3 days after I graduated college. At that point, when I graduated college, it was pills. Don't know how I graduated, but I did it. And then as soon as I got back to Louisville, I couldn't find any more pills. I had access to heroin, so I tried it, and it was downhill from there.
So what happened? You hitchhiked home, and how did you end up going back into rehab, or?
So I showed up at my mom and dad's doorstep, caused a huge argument, watched my mom cry in front of me, didn't feel any emotion towards it, watched my dad and my sister cry in front of me, and I didn't feel any emotion towards it. Grabbed my car keys and left, went to score some more dope. And I was on Algonquin Parkway, downtown Louisville, at a Family Dollar, and did some heroin. And last thing I remember was I took a left in the parking lot, and I woke up in the back of an ambulance, and they were doing CPR on my chest. I had overdosed, and sorry, I get emotional to talk about it because it's not great memories, you know.
Yeah.
And I drove my car straight through a red light, and with my head on the steering wheel. Luckily, it wasn't a four-way; it was a three-way, and I was going and hit directly into a fence. And a lady had saw me do it and called the cops, and they resuscitated me on Algonquin Parkway in the middle of the street. Gave me 4 shots of Narcan, which, if you know anything about Narcan, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And they said they finally got a pulse. And I woke up in the ambulance, and my chest was killing me. And it's because where they had to crack my ribs doing, they cracked one of my ribs doing chest compressions.
Yeah.
And I just remember crying and apologizing to the paramedics. I didn't know what to do. And then went to the hospital. And immediately when I saw my mom and dad, I started bawling, and my dad grabbed me by my shirt collar, and he was crying, and he pulled me up out of my wheelchair so hard it ripped the collar of my shirt. And he was telling me how, just like he was crying, and to see his pain is kind of like the moment that I realized, like, something needs to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my Aunt Sherry and Uncle Anthony, they didn't allow me to go home with my parents from the hospital. They took me directly to their house, and that next morning took me to Isaiah House Treatment Center, and that's where I started my journey to being clean from opioids. So
Yeah. No, I think you got connected to some good people along the way, didn't you?
yes, sir. Some great people that changed my life. So yes, sir. It's just a place. There's nothing there. Besides, you got a massive facility with 90 other people going through the same thing that you're going through.
Yeah.
So there's never a moment where you can't talk to somebody that doesn't know exactly what you're feeling. And I think that's important. Because at that moment, if a stranger was talking to me, you can't relate to me. You can't feel this pain.
Yeah.
But when you got 90 other people that's there going through the same thing that you're going through, and the majority of them have it worse,
Yeah.
then you start to realize.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody significant come alongside you at that time? How long were you in there? When did you get out? That sort of thing.
So it's an 11-month program. I stayed there for a full 11 months. Graduated the program, and then with my background in communications, I had started working there in the public relations department. Just built so many relationships there and in the public relations department. And they actually started a podcast. I was a part of that. It was called the Real Hope Cast.
Cool.
Very, very good with my buddy Troy. He runs that, and it's a great podcast. But it gave me a foundation that I've never had before. And no matter what happens, I feel like that foundation is so strong that it can get tore down, but that foundation will never break. So I can always rebuild, and I never get back to that level to where I was at.
Yeah. So when did you stop working there? How did you find your way into this industry? Because I know you responded to an ad at some point.
Yes, sir. So I came home in January of 21.
Yeah.
And I started working at a company called Agility. I was a delivery driver of hospital beds. So I was taking hospital beds to hospitals, specialty beds for different things. And then that's when I met my fiance, Devin. And at that point, my self-confidence was still low. I was scared because it's the first time I've been back in Louisville since everything, like permanently.
Yeah.
And she helped me build a confidence in myself that I've never had before on a level, a self-love level. I've never loved myself like that. I thought I did because of sports, but I never knew who I was outside of sports. I didn't know who Trey was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I could offer to people.
Yeah.
And she helped me build that, and I realized that I wasn't going to reach my potential delivering hospital beds. There's something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking around at jobs, and just so happened I saw an ad with the name James Darr, and it said 120 to 140,000 a year, and I was like, huh, what is that?
Yeah.
And clicked it and applied for it, and that's when my life changed in this industry. Is when Mr. James was in Texas, and he called me, and that moment that him and I first spoke on the phone, at that moment, I could just trust him. I feel like I could trust him right away.
Mm-hmm.
And
We were together. That was at the 8% event, I believe.
yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
because he had told me that he talked to you. I think Chris and James actually set up those ads that went out, and you responded, and I was with him in Dallas, and he said he spoke to a great guy. I think he spoke to you for quite some time on the phone.
Yes, sir. Because I had some troubles going on in my past with court, and so he was asking me about that, and I was going to be upfront and honest with him.
Yeah.
First phone call, so I just told him everything.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of giggled at some of the things I had going on, and he was like, dude, that's no problem.
Yeah.
He was like, if it is a problem, we'll find a way to figure it out.
Yeah.
And just to feel there was no judgment there, you know, it was, the comfortability stayed the same no matter if I was to tell him that or not, and that meant a lot to me.
Yeah. So you've been in the business now for 6.5, 7 months.
Yes, sir.
And we're in March of 2022 at the time of this recording, and you are doing something special this year. So you got plugged in with James.
Yes, sir.
James Darr with the advanced team.
Yes, sir.
And talk a little bit about what you felt like as an environment coming into the advanced team, the culture, what we were doing as an organization, and what you saw that this job was going to be, this career was going to be, because I can't call it a job. It's not a job.
Right.
What you saw this career was going to be, and the environment of the people that you were in. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Right. Because when I talked to James, he was telling me the ins and outs of just like on a very simplistic level. And in my head, I'm just thinking it's a sales job.
Yeah.
You know. I was automatically. I've never been in sales before, so I was thinking used car salesman. I don't want to become one of those, you know. And then the moment I met James face to face, I was like, "You're not a salesman, you know. You're just this big goofy bald guy with a beard. Like, what's going on?"
He likes all those words except the word goofy.
Yeah, yeah. And he kind of gave me the game plan. We sat in that back room back there, and he wrote everything down on a whiteboard. And it was kind of, you know, how he wants everything to kind of fall in place over the course of a year. And like I could see the passion in his eyes and like how bad he wanted it. And I feel like he could feel the same for me.
Yeah.
And we kind of fed off each other. And so when he talked, I listened. And he taught me everything about the in-home script, the door knock. And kind of like I've said multiple times, the Patriot Group he's taught me it's not just a sales, it's a way of life.
Yeah.
He taught me how to be better to Devin, my fiance. He taught me how to be better to other people, how to treat people, how to think of yourself second in some cases. he's taught me all of that. And I would not be in this position as fast as I am in this position without him being there literally every step of the way. Because he's done some things for me in the beginning to where I don't know if it would be possible without that help.
Yeah. I think, we all of us, we've had so many people on our podcast. I've been through so much myself. I know Chris has been through a lot. I think we can all point to these pivotal moments in our life, especially when there's a silver lining on the other side of it, when people come through. And you can look back and you can see these people, these men, these other women who've, have come into your life, these men who've come into your life, these people have come into your life and spoken something different into you, right? Spoken something different. I know Chris's message this morning at one of our meetings was that. I mean, Chris, I know you're resonating with what he's saying about someone speaking into your life and being in a tough spot. I want to throw it over to you to get some thoughts on this so far and do some follow-up here with Trey.
Yeah, it's kind of, I've just been even jotting some stuff down. Like, your story is, it's very real. It's real to the point that you say very specific things like Algonquin Street, like dates. Dates, times, the moments, the emotions that are attached to all of those things. That's the first thing I noticed. The second one is people who loved you during that time. Like, that's powerful stuff. Like that. I don't know what your relationship is like with your parents. I just don't know. I know that they love you. That's very clear in this story. It's very clear that they love you.
Yes, sir.
And and people, I mean, we're talking sales here, but maybe you're dealing with this. You might be dealing with this and you're like, I don't know if I'm making the right decisions in some of these relationships. Like that decision with your aunt and uncle, that's a tough decision, man. Like, you're not going back to your parents' house, you're going with us, and your parents are like, I think that's the right thing to do. Is this the right thing to do? Like, love covers a multitude of sins. That's the beauty of it. Like, just love covers that stuff. And I'm saying all of that to get back to what we're talking about here is you can't win by yourself. You cannot win by yourself, because whether we're talking about a treatment center or we're talking about making $100,000, $200,000, or fighting for your future and your family, you will always go back to hitchhiking home. You always will if you're trying to do this by yourself.
Yeah, because you get inside of your own head, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a powerful thing, because I know that you went through things early on where James stepped in and said, no, it doesn't need to go this way. Here's what we can do differently.
Yes, sir.
And it takes someone else. I mean, Chris talks about it. When you were a kid, Chris, and you were going through some challenges, you indicated this morning that you just had some men that came alongside of you and said, why are you acting this way? I want to get to know you.
This is what I see in you.
Yeah, and then they're calling something out of you, and you said, all they're doing is they're taking your shoulders and adjusting them, right, into a different direction so you can actually see something. I mean, Devin did that for you, right?
Yes,
Your
sir.
aunt and uncle probably were very instrumental in that relationship.
Yes, sir.
And I know you had some mentors in Louisville that I know.
Yes, sir.
Who's that individual?
Brian Frederick and Mark Davidson.
Yeah, Mark Davidson. Yeah. And Mark is a friend of mine, and we connected, and he's like, I know Trey.
Yep.
And because he saw you being recognized for sales success, and he said, do you know Trey? And we got talking, and then we took that selfie together and shot it over to you, and your answer back was, that man helped me save my life.
Yes, sir. He was there for every moment that I failed. He was there, and then he was there for every moment that I succeeded as well. So, the day I overdosed, he's one of the ones that came into the hospital when we were trying to find ways to get clean and sober. We kind of did a home isolation. I locked myself in the room, which was a very painful 4 or 5 days. But Mark was there every day. He showed up every day to see how I was doing.
Strong, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, these pivotal moments where people come alongside of you and you know that someone is watching over you at that moment.
Yeah.
And if you're watching today or listening on the podcast, I want to let you know that you were created for a purpose. You were created for something bigger. You were called to do something better. You were meant for more. And regardless of your past, and you're going to get to hear some of the wins now on the other side of this, because Trey's got an incredible story. And wait till you hear what he's been just doing in the last 3 months. I mean, it'll blow you away. I mean, we couldn't be more excited for you and Devin and for what you got ahead of you, man. It is really exciting. But to know that you can come from that, you know, and not go the way of so many who continue to make those wrong choices, but you allowed someone else to come alongside you and said, hey, I'm standing with you. And you trust in them enough to take that next step with them instead of driving back home again. You know, like Chris said, and we always say this, you know, you win in community and you fail in isolation. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to do this on your own out there, it's a hard road to go on your own. Life is hard on your own, you know, let alone sales.
Yes.
Life is hard on your own.
That's why we say association is such a big part of this.
Yeah.
And, you know, our conversation today and this conversation of habits, that's what we were talking about. Like, sometimes we just have to be around people who see things bigger than we do, who see where we're standing in the midst of our own lives, because our brains just run on autopilot many times and we're not even aware of, like you've said it. I mean, you are literally saying the words. Like, I didn't know the damage I was doing. I was just chasing a feeling, an emotion, and at any cost. And but you saw people at a higher level who were saying, man, bro, we're locking you in a room to bust this up.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, regardless, like there's healthy ways to chase that emotion. There's healthy ways and there's unhealthy ways. Mm-hmm. And it's cool to see how you've navigated this, dude, because, I mean, I knew some of your story. This is the first time I'm really hearing all of it. Like, I wish I would have known, so I wouldn't get all teared up on here. Thanks a lot, bro. But
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's great, man. But you know, I'm hearing this, and I know that people need to know that you can overcome big things. You can.
So you got in the business, you're getting started, and now you've got all this baggage, right?
Yep.
And you're told that you're going to go help people put plans in place to protect their families. Yep. You're this tatted guy, right? You're all tatted up.
Yes,
You've
sir.
got this past. You've got this history. The only real identity you knew was in sports.
Yep.
And now you've got all this stuff in between, the stuff that you've overcome. And now you're supposed to go and be really successful and make $100,000.
Yeah.
Like, what was that transition like, man?
Honestly, surprisingly, it was easy. On a way that, yes, if I could take some of my past back, as in the drug addiction, of course. Mm-hmm. But what I don't necessarily think I would change it, because it has set me up for experiences that I never knew that would set me up for success. Just like when I went to Willisburg, it's a very rural area. I'm a city boy. In West Virginia, I'm a flatlander. I get made fun of all the time. I feel like Ricky Bobby. It's like I don't know what to do with my hands. You know? I don't know how to build things with my hands. And it's but it set me up that I had to communicate on that type of communication, different than a city. And so going into a home now, going to see a lot of rural people, I feel like I can speak just about any form of different communication that there is.
Yeah.
So nothing is surprising. Nothing caught me off guard. I felt very comfortable. And it's almost because I feel like that with everything that's happened, it's humbled me to a level that I never thought I could reach, because I used to be a very prideful person, especially being a football player. Yeah. Like, no, I'm going to run you over every play, you know? But now going into a home, no matter what type of home I go into, there's no way that that I'm better than this person, because I know what I've been through. Yeah. So we're able to connect on a interpersonal level that I feel like it's very rare sometimes, and it's that connection that's what surprised me, is the connection that I can build with people, even though I'm selling them something. That by the time I'm done, it doesn't feel like they were sold anything. It feels like, you know, their life is completely protected by somebody that they trust now. Yeah. So it's pretty awesome.
It's cool watching your story progress and hearing James brag on you, you know, in the early days. And, you know, James would say, Trey's going to be a beast. He already is a beast. He just doesn't know it yet, but he's gonna be big in this business. And to see, because he saw in you, you know, that potential inside of you. And I'm sure other people have seen that as well and have come alongside you because of your it's like these two demons. You got this, the red Satan over here, the devil over here, and you got the angel over here. And it looks like in your life that these two were battling each other most of your life.
Yes, sir.
And yet you were always leaning towards the left shoulder instead of,
Yes, sir.
instead of the white shoulder.
The cool thing about that, though, that and anybody who's dealt with those things, you were always a fighter. You were always a fighter, but you were fighting for the wrong things. He's had this desire, and now it's a different kind of desire, and nothing. I'm not going to stand in the way.
Well, the competitiveness from football, right?
Right.
You played on one of the winningest high school football programs in the state of Kentucky, right?
Yes, sir. We got I have 3 state championships and 1 national championship at Trinity High School.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, how many how many state championships have Trinity won in the state?
27.
27. I mean, this is
Yeah.
like football central. I mean,
Right.
it's not. I mean, it's like if you're going to play football in Kentucky, you want to play here. I mean,
Yep.
and that's where you were. And so this competitiveness comes out, but yet on this other side, these dark demons were getting you. So now you're in helping people. You're blessing people, and you're starting to see deposits hit your account. What does that feel like when it starts to happen? And what are you saying to Devin? That's what I want to know, what these conversations are like at home.
Not a lot, because she would want to spend it right away. I love Devin.
Cat's out of the bag, bro,
told
because
her,
you're on a podcast.
She's going to watch this
Oh, yes.
and
Yes.
listen. Yeah. Okay.
I already owe her about 3 pedicures, so.
I thought you were going to say 300,000. No. She'll take it though.
But it's funny you said that, because Mr. James, my first day, he made me take a screenshot of my bank account
Yeah.
and send it to him. And it was literally negative $5.
Yeah.
I can promise you my bank account isn't that today.
Yeah.
And you don't realize the money you're making, because the other day I was looking at my bank account, and I had just paid my leads, I had just paid my hotel bill, and I just had literally paid out almost probably $1,300. And I was looking at my bank account, I was like, is that right? Did they take everything out?
Why is all this money still in there?
Yeah. And it's something I've never had before, so I'm still trying to get used to it.
Yeah.
But Mr. James and everybody's been on me. Don't spend your money. Don't spend your money. So that's kind of what Devin and I are focusing on. But it's I don't know, that first deposit I got from Foresters, I just wanted to. I was ready to drive home on Monday.
I can't hide money.
I got some money. Let's go home.
Yeah.
He's like, I hope you like Sizzler. I don't even know that's around anymore.
No, I don't even know.
What is Sizzler?
Exactly.
It's not important.
See, there's
A dated reference.
we did it again.
We did it again.
We did it again. So Trey, this last 2 months, man, you've been on a run since the beginning of the year. Tell me about that. What do you average in a week? Well, let's first of all give some context. You work in the final expense space,
Yes, sir.
right? So you're working direct mail leads primarily,
Yes, sir.
right? And you go visit people in their homes. So you're doing face-to-face sales.
Yes, sir.
So you're not doing telesales. You're not doing Medicare. You're going and sitting down with seniors and helping them put protection in place for end-of-life planning or legacy planning, funeral costs, that sort of thing.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about this last 2 months. What's going on, man? Tell us about this run you're on.
Yes, sir. Just finally finding the groove. I think I've done an average. I think I've had 2 weeks outside that I haven't reached 6,000. And it's just, I don't know, but I just put my head down and just started going to work. Wasn't taking no for an answer, and learning along the way. I think that's what helped me the most is learning from the mistakes, so they didn't happen twice. Because you can ask Mr. James, I made a lot of pricing mistakes in the beginning.
Yeah.
And he told me how to fix it, and I fixed it. There was no making that mistake twice.
Yeah.
And I think just learning from those mistakes and not making them again, I think it's what's helped me reach that point that what I'm at today. So it's pretty awesome.
One of the things that I think I was most impressed about with you when you first got started is I'd come into the office and you'd be here learning, training, reading material, doing presentations, doing role play, going through carrier material, like applying yourself. Where did that come from? Is that from your football days of reading playbooks and practice? Where did that come from? That discipline to dive in to get good at this?
I think it's a mixture of my competitiveness, but it's also a mixture of everything that I've been through. Because I saw the success. It wasn't an imaginary thing that I could
Right.
reach. I saw Mr. James's bank account. I saw the success he was having. I saw his issue paid numbers.
Yeah.
And he always told me, if I can do it, you can do it. But I could not do it if I didn't apply myself. Mr. James has done so much for me that if I didn't give that effort back to him and more, then it would be a disservice to him. And I tried to give him that effort and more. And I feel like I've done that, and I got to continue to do that to keep building the success.
Well, I know he's proud of you, and I know we're proud of you.
Thank you.
What do you see for your future? I mean, you're helping families every week. You work typically Monday to Thursday, right?
Yes, sir.
And then Fridays you're kind of doing your cleanup stuff, whatever you're doing, and getting ready for next week's stuff.
Yes, sir.
What do you see for your future here? Are you going to be a solo producer? What's in the future for Devin and Trey and this industry? What's going on?
So are we talking like big picture?
Sure.
Whatever you want to share.
Well, this is
you got to let them
unscripted.
know. You got to let them know.
Well,
what's in your future, and then what could they expect? From this industry.
Mr. John Whitmore, I hold you in very, very high respect, but I'm coming for you, sir.
That's a big goal.
Yes, sir.
Love
big
it.
goal.
No, that's what I told Mr. James. I want to build something huge, but not just within, just build a culture. And, I've told Mr. James all the time, I feel like ATP is the perfect place for that. Advanced team. I'm sorry, I still use the abbreviation.
That's all right.
Advanced team is the perfect place for that because of all the avenues that we have access to help bring people on. Getting ready to take on Medicare. There's mortgage protection there, and all I'm doing right now is final expense.
Yeah.
And I think that's the exciting part is like I'm having success in one thing.
Yeah.
And if I can put that effort that I'm putting towards final expense and put it to those two other things, I know I could be just as successful.
Yeah.
And if I can put that effort into a team to do the same thing under Patriot Group, then, like I said, Mr. Whitmore, give me about 3 years, sir. I'm coming.
Even if it took you 10,
So
it'd be all right.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Even
sir.
if it took 10, it'd be all right. Because it took him a while too.
Oh yeah, I told him, I said I want to have a whole team doing Medicare only, a whole team doing mortgage protection only, and a whole team doing final expense only.
Beautiful, man.
And so we got every avenue covered. But
Let's do it.
yeah, that's big picture. But obviously, I want to start building my team as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because this opportunity is so big that it would be selfish not to try to let other people know about it.
I'll tell you, man, that is gold. If you don't hear anything, that's gold, man. This is such a big deal that it's selfish not to share it. And Trey, I'm sitting here just I'm blessed with seeing the future a little bit. Usually it's only like 5 seconds at the time, but no, just hearing your passion and what you're trying to fight for. You are fighting for impact. It's clear to me. And we have almost 30,000 listeners a month now. We're about 30,000.
Yep.
And out of those 30,000, there are people who are wondering, can I do this? Can I figure this out? Can I even, I have screwed up a lot of stuff in my life. Is there even a shot for me to be able to make 50,000 or knock on a door? Can I do this? And they're hearing a guy who's, come up from the bottom, man. This is an impact moment for them. I hope
Yeah.
it should be.
What would your words be to those people who are wondering if this could be something for them?
Coming from a guy who's been at the very bottom, where when I overdosed, my pulse literally stopped, and they had to
Crack
resuscitate
your ribs to get you back.
Yes. They had to get me to start breathing again. So in a very corny way, I was reborn,
I don't think it's corny, bro.
No, well, I was reborn when I was baptized when I was at Isaiah House on my 30th day. That's kind of when I was really reborn. But obviously, God wasn't finished with me yet.
Amen.
He wasn't ready to let me
Yes.
go. So I feel like, kind of like I said with Mr. James, if I didn't give him that effort, then it was a disservice. The same thing with my Lord and Savior. If I don't give him the amount of effort, there's no amount of effort that could ever equal, but still put the effort that people have put into me from that second chance that he gave me, then what am I here for? Because then, like, is my only purpose going to be money? That's not happy.
Dude, that is powerful. That is powerful, and I appreciate that. But I want that camera there is Bill.
Bill?
That's Bill. Hey, Bill. All right?
Hey, Bill.
Bill's asking this question. Am I good enough? Can I do this? What can you say to Bill? Look in that camera and talk to Bill.
Okay. I promise you're good enough. I've been there before. Believe in yourself, okay? Even if nobody else does. And if nobody does, find somebody that will. And all you got to do is just keep trying. If you fall, keep getting up. You're going to have bumps, scrapes, bruises, sometimes, lacerations. You're going to think everything's done for, but it's not. I promise you it's not. I've literally been to the bottom of the bottom, and I'm not at the top yet, but I'm climbing my ass off. So all you got to do is just climb your ass off. And every time you fall, climb harder. And one day, something's going to break through. I promise. It's going to be either one person or something that's going to help you break through, and it's going to happen. You just got to keep going. That's really what I can say is just, have that belief in yourself. You got to find it somehow. And sometimes the belief is, even if you don't believe in yourself being good at anything, it's just the belief in knowing that you're not going to give up no matter what the outcome is. And at that point, that's truly when you become unstoppable. Because a lot of people will say, I'm unstoppable, but I know something that can stop them. Take away their money or take away their cars or house. But if you've been to the bottom and you still refuse to stop, then there's nothing ever that could ever stop you from anything.
It's really good.
It's great. Trey, if there's some people out there listening considering getting into the business, would you be willing to mentor some of these people on your team?
100%. I don't know if I can consider myself a mentor yet, but I'll be your best friend and help you succeed.
That's a mentor.
That's a mentor.
Yes, sir. Mr. James is my mentor, and everything that he has taught me, I need to put that into other people. Amen. As well as what you guys have taught me, and especially Zach. I know Zach isn't able to join us, but I feel like Zach and I think a lot alike on the interpersonal level.
Yeah.
A lot of weird thinking going on, and I like that, and I feel like I can. What's my favorite quote? Muhammad Ali said, "Is your service to others is the rent you pay for your home here on earth." So, if I can try to do that for other people every day, then that's a step in the right direction. So,
boom. Well, man, I think that's a wrap. How can we go past that?
No, man, that was unscripted. That's how we roll.
Yeah. Service to others is the rent you pay.
Yes, sir.
For your time here on earth.
That's good.
I like it.
Yep.
That's good.
That's
Muhammad Ali's from right here.
Yes, sir.
Right here in Louisville, Kentucky. If you didn't know that, he's a hometown boy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's a hometown boy. Trey, man, we're going to have you back.
I'd love to.
Obviously, this is the unscripted Trey story. We're going to have Trey back to talk about his process. Can you drop a comment in our podcast notes, in the show, in the podcast comments, or on our YouTube channel? Drop a comment there if you would like to hear about Trey's process, what his work ethic looks like each week, what's his, what does his workflow look like to get the results he's doing. I mean, right now he's pacing to do, if he keeps this up, between $250,000 to $300,000 in issue paid business. And that is a long way from being on Algonquin Street on the flat of your back, man.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a long way from there. And you're doing that by blessing families, helping them protect the people they love the most. I know how passionate you are about Devin. I know how passionate you are about your friendships and the people who care about you. We want you to win, man. We see nothing but blue sky for you. We're so excited that you're here and so excited you got to share your story.
Thank you.
Today with everybody. So thanks for being on the podcast, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
It.
All right. And thanks, guys, for watching this episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We'll check you. We'll get you back on here. If you want to check out any of our services, any of our products, any connection with us, You can message us at lifeinsuranceacademy.org. You can reach me at roger@lifeinsuranceacademy.org. Chris, same. You can message us at lifeinsureacad. That's all of our social, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can get us there. You can reach us. You can find us. You can leave a message somewhere, wherever you're watching or listening to this. Leave us a message, and we'll get you. And if you want to get connected to this guy, this Trey Wright, message us, and we'll connect you with him. Because this guy's getting ready to change some people's lives. He says, I don't know how much of a mentor I am, but I can't imagine being able to step alongside someone like him and have him mentor me at that point in my life when I needed somebody. And you're already on the way. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast.